Welcome to Talks with Zach. We have Mr. Smith here. He is our senior director at our WMBF News. I guess we'll jump right in. Can you explain your job to us?
Sure. Like I said, my title is Senior Director. So what that consists of is I direct several newscasts each day. I also manage the production department. So I hire people, train people, get performance reviews, make schedules, things like that. I also do a little bit of work with graphics, and occasionally the other minor production work like cameras and audio and graphics.
You got a lot of stuff to do on a daily basis. So can you tell us a day in your life of what you do?
Sure. So I come in, check my email. We get hundreds of emails a day. Most of it's not important, but I have to filter through and find the important stuff. Any big events that are happening that day, I have to prepare for, like breaking news, special events, things like that. I spend a lot of time creating schedules. Our schedules are very in-depth. For example, there are 56 different rows for 13 different employees.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah. So a lot of people doing a lot of different stuff every day that I have to prepare for. If we have a position open, I'm going through applications and resumes, trying to filter through the qualified candidates. I'm setting up interviews. I'm doing interviews with those candidates. By the time I do that stuff, it's time to start preparing for the shows. So when I'm preparing for a show, I'm going through the rundown and I'm looking at what all the producer has put into the rundown, the scripts they've written. And I'm assigning cameras to shots, channels to video, channels to the Chiron graphics. Chiron is our graphics system. Things like that. And then about 20 minutes to showtime, that's when I'm printing out the rundowns for the camera operators, go back to the control room and punch the show. And then do it all over again. I usually do the 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. show. So after the 4 p.m. show, I do the same thing for the 6 p.m. show. I block that show rundown and then we direct it.
So you work the entire news day?
Basically. I usually work something like 11 to 7. So it gives me a little bit of admin time before the shows, and then during the shows, I'm concentrating on that.
So is this what you've always wanted to do? Or?
No, I actually just kind of fell into it. Back in 2012, I learned about a position at WMBF, and I applied for it. It was a part-time, entry-level production position. But then once I got in there, I realized I actually loved it. So I just kind of worked my way up to where I am now.
So did you want to do something in broadcasting or something like that, or you just had no idea?
No, yeah, I wanted, as a kid, I wanted to be a storm chaser. So I never really wanted to work in news. I wanted to study weather, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it in the aspect, but you know.
You could build a car and just chase the storm.
Right, yeah, that was a dream.
So what is your favorite thing that you get to do in your job?
I think my favorite thing is being able to express my creativity. For example, we had the Wings Over Myrtle Beach air show this past summer. And during that show, we were doing a lot of crazy things, like different effects, a lot of different camera shots, things like that. After a big event like that, when it's successful, it makes you feel really good. It makes you feel good about the team, about yourself, about the place you work for. So I think that feeling is probably my favorite thing about it.
And everybody does what you say. Like you control.
Yeah,
You're in control and make sure, and if
In
something
theory.
bad happens,
Right.
it falls on you.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
I'm kind of giving direction as everything is happening, but I can't always control everything. But ideally, that would be the case.
Right. So the hard question,
Yeah.
what is your least favorite thing that you have to do?
Yeah,
You probably wake up early.
Meh, I don't have to wake up too early. Well, sometimes I do, but usually I don't. But probably my least favorite thing about the job is when things go wrong. Like in a show, it's a live newscast and everything is happening live on air. So sometimes things are bound to go wrong.
And then you end up on YouTube.
Yeah, you end up on a blooper reel.
Yeah.
So when things go wrong, sometimes it's out of your control, sometimes it's just your fault. And sometimes it can be avoided, sometimes it can't. But when things go wrong, it's just kind of, it's a bad feeling. You know, but you gotta get up, dust yourself off, and move on.
What's the worst thing that has happened?
The worst thing that has happened.
That's screwed up.
That's a tough one. To me personally, or just in general?
To you, like something that
Okay.
you, or you don't. It's something that's happened while you were there. You don't have to
Okay.
say that it was you.
Okay. Wow. That's
Because
really
on live, everything live, I know
Yeah.
there's something. a lot of stuff that happens.
I think the worst thing that's ever happened with me is when I was first learning to direct shows. We did a show open, we teased some stories that were coming up, and then we went to the anchor and she said, "Hello, I am so-and-so, let's get into your forecast." So normally, the weather segment in that block of the show would be at the chroma key, the green screen. And so in my head, I was still brand new to directing, I was like, okay, we're going to the chroma key next. Well, for this particular weather segment, the producer had the meteorologist at a different set in the studio, and for some reason I just couldn't get it to click in my mind. So I was trying to go to the chroma key and I was like, there's no meteorologist here, what's happening? So it was just the camera at the green screen and no meteorologist. You could hear him though, because his microphone was up. And so they were yelling at me like, he's on camera one, he's on camera one. So that was really bad because I sat on the wrong camera for a good 20 seconds before I figured out what was wrong. So that was brutal.
So you were on the camera, or you had to switch to that camera?
I had to switch to that camera. Yeah, I had to punch the right one up, but.
Do y'all have headsets and somebody's like, camera one, camera one?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
exactly.
jump right on it?
Yeah, well, after I figured out what was happening. Because in the heat of the moment, it's like your brain is misfiring, and so you can't really think about what you should do. You're just trying to figure out why it's going wrong.
And it was your first day?
It was one of my first days directing, yeah. I had done a little bit of practice, but that was my first time going at it by myself.
So did you go from school and then you started at WMBF, or what was your?
I was actually in school for meteorology. I didn't finish that because I got promotions at work, and that just kind of took up my time. So I never finished my degree toward meteorology. Most everything that I've learned has been on the job.
At WMBF?
Yeah.
How long have you worked there?
Almost 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming in, and that's all we have for our CCCA. Thank you for watching or listening. That's just been Talks with Zach. Thank you.